Welcome to the Cellar Report for Substantially Complete 2023. My name is Greg Zeschuk from Blind Enthusiasm Brewing Company. This is Doug Cheknita, the head brewer and blender. We are here to talk about this amazing beer. Its packaging date was July 18th, 2023. The blend is a blend of 1, 2, 3, and 4-year-old mixed fermentation barrels. Substantially Complete is, of course, a cross-section of our mixed fermentation program at any one point in time. We're tasting this December 2024, and we did cheat and taste this in advance so you get the best possible experience. Doug is going to open the bottle, and we're going to begin. Perfect. All right. And there's always this awkward moment when Doug's opening the bottles that I have to fill with random information.
I mean, you don't have to.
Well, no, if people are watching a video, they gotta be entertained. People need their entertainment all the time. And it would be really entertaining if one day Tom set up a fake bottle that exploded into my face, ruining his entire set. Of course, he would never do that because it's Tom's set and it's really lovely. Okay, so first off, we talk a little bit about the cork. So Doug's popped the bottle. Again, not super old. This is 2023, so we're really around a year and a few months. So, but looking crisp and clean. Cork comments, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, this is very young. Yeah. So the cork is very fresh.
You can see got that wedge kind of shape. Hey,
yeah, it still has a lot of spring to it. Yeah. It's very young. It's still got the spongy quality to it of putting a bottle in pretty recently. Cool. In the big scheme of things, but
smelling good.
It even smells young. So like a young cork will have like a little bit of a toasty quality, almost like a toasted marshmallow, almost like a little sweetness to the aromatic.
So you're a connoisseur fine corks.
I am. I love a good cork.
All right. So now we will pour this beer out and not out into glasses, not like get rid of it because that would suck. But this is our first Cellar Report on this beer. And in fact, we're just releasing it right now. So those of you that are wondering about the timing of this is something that we'll be doing a lot in the future. And boy, oh boy, that's got good clarity and some nice foam structure. I'm cheating by taking Doug's comments on that. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So being young and well cellared for release, it's very clear. It's got our like classic golden, deep gold color. Being younger, the foam is very dissipating. And then this one being nowadays with a little bit more acidity to our product, that the acidity will kill the foam a little more. Yeah. So
acidity, folks, is foam negative. So very hard to have beers with any acidity with actually much foam to be stable on them.
So bubbles are coming through nice and fine. Yeah. The foam is there and structured for a young beer. And then, color's fantastic.
Cool. And then we smell the beer to check out the aromas. So what do you what do you sniff, Mr. Cheknita?
On this one, you threw me off there.
Don't worry, this is normally part of the thing.
This one, and with a lot of our mixed ferment, there's a classic fermentative quality, especially in a young one. It's got the strong white fruit, stone fruit
really
kind of
super
characters.
Strong in this
that'll be very upfront, especially in a young mixed ferment. You're going to get a little bit of palm fruit. I kind of describe it as like pear. So palm fruit being apples, pears, quince, those kind of fruits. To me, it comes across kind of pear. And pear's really floral. So I'm also picking up like a very floral character for sure. Yeah. And then you're getting the red wine notes of from the barrels and from some of those like younger, freshly emptied barrels. It's definitely like a red wine character from red wine.
Yeah, because typically a lot of our barrels we get from red wine producers all over the world. Some coming quite fresh, and you will get some of those notes in the beer, like in this case.
Yeah, sometimes the red wine quality comes from the fermentation and how we make the beer, but in this case, it's definitely from some of those barrels.
Nice. Let's take a little taste and see. No more jokes around what you're doing next. That didn't work last time. I mean, as you expect, super duper bright.
Yeah.
Super crisp.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
So having 1, 2, 3, and 4 year barrels in the blend You're getting a lot of depth. Definitely highlighted for fruitiness in this blend.
Yeah. That's something you guys have to do with the blending process. Like, I mean, I'm part of it, but I'm pretending I'm not.
Yeah.
But when you do this blend, like, you kind of like select for that as a focus?
Yeah. So when we're selecting, especially for something like Substantially Complete being a like a highlight of what's best in the mix ferment program at a given time, this vintage for sure, we're picking the barrels where fruitiness was key, because at this time, those fruity barrels were our best.
Yeah.
So really highlighting the best parts of that. So that's still coming through off the aroma. You're getting the stone fruit again, that high florality that comes with some of those fruit. It's a little more ripe on the aroma, on the flavor as opposed to the aroma.
Yeah, kind of overripe, I guess.
Yeah.
About,
There's
right?
some like overripe character. Not like rotten fruit by any means, but just like when you're picking it at its peak ripeness.
Right.
That florality of the palm fruits coming through, some of the skin kind of like flavors with that. There's a very, very subtle like VA character in the finish.
I remember we talked about that one. Yeah.
So those that don't know, VA is a term that comes from the wine world often. It's called VA, stands for volatile acidity, and it encaptures a subset of different flavor compounds. So you can have acetic acid, you can have the
like higher alcohols,
and stuff. That some of the aldehydes, some of them will come across kind of like nail polish remover. At subtle amounts, they can really highlight red fruit and some of those character. And in this one, I feel like it's there just as like a very subtle note. Definitely
enhances the beer.
Yeah, it's enhancing those red wine qualities. And for some that don't know what those compounds are, they might even just think it's red wine, like a red wine quality to it, because it's enhancing it, and it really makes fruit pop. Which when we're picking barrels, and we'll include some that might have VA to them, that's the reason we're adding them, is to highlight those notes.
Got it. Beers, we make beers with acidity. All beers have acidity, but we kind of focus on that as one of our key elements. This one, how do you characterize this?
Yeah, so this one has a little bit more of like a poppy acidity, more like fruit. It's definitely not like
not sharp,
overly sharp, but it's got that like poppy. It's definitely not like subtle, but it is balanced. Yeah. So it is present. It's enhancing those fruity characters that are all the way through these beers. Or through the flavor and the aromatic quality. And again, like very enhancing juiciness, full texture, and all of that.
Texture itself is pretty good on this. Like
and then going into the texture, it's a very coating, a very coating blend.
It's still a young beer, so as a young beer, we're still gonna have like the texture's very full, and we got good sort of
texture can dissipate over time with cellaring. And that's just breakdown of chemicals, bioreactivity in the bottle, because our beers are living. But at being young, it's still bright, round, very, very light finishing tannin that just leaves like a nice little bit of cleanness at the end, but definitely not clearing the palate. Like the beer does stick as a like texturally.
Carb.
Yeah, and then medium high carb. Yeah. It's young. It's in an era where we're carbonating high.
Yeah. Quite bright. It keeps the beer bright and fresh.
Yeah, it's more similar to like some of the Normandy ciders, that kind of level of carbonation.
Right.
Where it's bright, it's poppy, it's helping carry the aromatics out of the beer. And keeping it lively on the palate, which is
everyone likes lively on the palate.
Everyone likes bubbles.
We like that. Well, that concludes the Cellar report for Substantially Complete 2023. Enjoy.